8:48 a.m., a ship began to tilt. Inside it were hundreds of students. They were not screaming, they were not running, because they were told to stay where they were. This is not just a shipwreck. This is the sinking of the MV Sewol. On the morning of April 16, 2014, the passenger ferry MV Sewol sailed through calm waters of South Korea. On board were 476 people. Most of them were high school students traveling on a school trip. None of them knew this journey would never end. The MV Sewol looked ordinary, but it was not. The ship had been illegally modified to carry more cargo than allowed. It was overloaded, unstable, unsafe. Cargo was stacked carelessly. Nothing was secured. The disaster had already begun, long before the ship tilted. At 8:48 a.m., the ferry made a sharp turn. The cargo shifted. The ship leaned, at first slightly, then dangerously. Water began to enter the ship. Passengers panicked. Students called their parents. Then an announcement was made. They were told to stay where they were. They obeyed. While passengers waited inside, the crew escaped. One by one, even the captain left the ship. The people in charge were the first to survive. Rescue forces arrived, but they hesitated. They circled. They waited. Ship sank, live on television. News reports said everyone was rescued. That was not true. The golden rescue time was lost when the MV Sewol disappeared. Underwater, 304 people were dead. Most of them were children. Investigations exposed negligence, corruption, and failure. The captain was sentenced to life in prison. Laws were changed, but nothing was restored. The sea took the ship, but it also took trust, and it left behind a question the world still cannot answer. What happens when obedience becomes fatal?